test, test.
Time is approximately 8:05 p.m., February 4th, the City of Castle Hills Zoning Commission meeting. The Zoning Commission is back from executive session. No action was taken. The time is now approximately 8:06. Mr. Small, I will go ahead and continue. Yes, it is February 4th, 2020.
I believe then that it's appropriate to return to item number 5 and read item number 5, and the commission then to have its discussion and take possible action on that item.
Thank you very much, Mr. Schnall. The time is approximately 8:06 p.m. Agenda item number 5, discussion and possible action on a recommendation to City Council on an amendment to Section 50-497 of Chapter 50 of the Code of Ordinances to revise the provision regarding uses in the A single-family residence district not eligible for a special use permit. Reading directly, possible executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney. Commissioners, this is your time for open discussion.
I actually had one question. Under the second paragraph, whereas the Zoning Commission of the City of Castle Hills believes that it is in the best interest of the city to amend Section 5497 to amend the provisions. Is that the correct, is that semantically correct? Is that written like that?
Yeah, Mr. Herndon, I believe that language is correct. That's what the commission would be finding, that whether you want to say best interest or appropriate.
No, I was thinking the city to amend Section 5497 and to amend the provision regarding the uses.
I think the whereas paragraph is acceptable.
Okay.
As drafted.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any other open discussion? We will accept a motion if someone would like to bring one forward. Courteously or respectfully again here, we will accept a motion if someone would like to bring one forward.
Mr. Chairman, I'll remind the members of the commission that this agenda item is here to facilitate action that has been suggested by legal counsel for the city. I would ask that action be taken one way or the other on this proposed resolution in regard to Section 50-497 of the Code of Ordinances.
Mr. Schnall, we don't have a motion. Any other comments?
I will repeat myself that it is in the best interest of the city for action to be taken on this agenda item this evening to facilitate and to deal with a recommendation from legal counsel for the city of Castle Hills in pending litigation. Action should be taken tonight, whether it's to adopt this resolution as proposed, adopt this resolution as modified, or to recommend against adoption of this action. Action should be taken tonight.
I'll make a motion to accept it as written.
Is there a second? Is there a second? Motion fails for lack of a second. The time is approximately 8:11 p.m. Agenda item number 6, discussion and possible action on the identification of the basis for the Zoning Commission's October 3rd, 2019 recommendation to the City Council concerning the Wayside Chapel Evangelical Free Church application for an amendment to an existing special use permit to add the property located at 113 Ivywood Circle. Possible executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney. Commissioners, this is your time for open discussions.
I would like to have it noted that I made the recommendation to deny the Wayside application for a special use permit because I did not believe that it was appropriate to amend a former resolution for an SUP when it involved increasing a land size, adding new property to that special use permit, because the way I understood the law to be was that a special use permit was approved only with regard to the specific property identified. And if all you have to do is go back and have an amendment, then you've circumvented the purpose of having an SUP. So I did not believe that the Wayside Chapel's application was appropriate as an amendment. I believed it should have been filed as a whole new SUP. And further, my opinion was based on a section of the Castle Hills Zoning Code 50-497, which said that, I can read it, special use permits are not allowed in Zone A, and it cites religious and philanthropic, hospitals, and I think nursing homes. That was the basis of my objection to the Wayside Chapel application.
Commissioner Baker, thank you so much for your communication. Commissioners, anyone else? This is your time for open discussion. We will accept a motion if someone would like to bring one forward. Just one more. Commissioners, we will accept a motion if someone would like to bring one forward.
I guess I'm confused about what a motion would be because it's mostly discussion and possible action. So I've identified the basis for my zoning recommendation. I I don't know that there is any other thing to be addressed. Mr. Schnall?
I think Ms. Baker is correct, Mr. Chairman. I think that as the person who made the motion to deny the request, Ms. Baker has identified the logic and reasoning behind her motion. The commission did ultimately, as I recall, adopt that motion. And so I think that the commission has, unless there is someone who wants to make a motion or make a further comment, I think the commission has completed the work that was intended to be covered by item number 6.
There is one other thing, I'm sorry, I would like to add that in all of the SUPs that were denied by the zoning but granted by the City of Castle Hills City Council, every one of those resolutions had a statement in bold writing that said there was no precedent to be taken from that resolution. And yet it appears to be that precedent is what Wayside wanted us to go on. And that was not what was any of the resolutions said.
Thank you, Commissioner Baker. Thank you, Mr. Schnall. Again, just wanted to mention, strictly for procedure, as samples or examples only, each commissioner decides possibly that they could utilize, I move to approve, not approve, take no action, table to when a particular date, then could read, as an example, the agenda item, note, this is only a sample to possibly avoid any stress or confusion. Each commissioner can decide on their own method.
So are we moving off of item 6 and on to 7?
Mr. Schnall?
Yes, sir?
Did you happen to hear Commissioner Baker's statements? This commission did hear you earlier talking about fulfillment of agenda item number 6. So I just wanted to go ahead and move forward from agenda item number 6, and the time is approximately 8:18. We're moving off of agenda item number 6. The time is still approximately 8:18 p.m. Agenda item number 7, public hearing on an amendment to section 50-590 of chapter 50 of the Code of Ordinances to revise the method of appointment of members and alternates to zoning commission, establishing rules and operating procedures for the zoning commission, and setting an effective date. Mr. City Manager, is there anyone that is signed up to speak regarding, we're opening the public hearing, and it is approximately, it was 8:18, now 8:19. Please. Thank you very much, sir. The names on this list to speak for the City of Castle Hills Zoning Commission meeting Tuesday, February 4th, 2020, 7 p.m. attendance roster is what this is, stated on this document. And it's, please print your name and address. The name and the address, it's got Jared Trevino, 112 Hibiscus, and Quentin Baker, 213 Hibiscus Lane. If I could ask, please, if Mr. Baker, if you would like to speak, sir. Thank you so much for being here with us, sir.
You bet. It's a lonely audience tonight. Quentin Baker, 213 Hibiscus Lane. A point of clarification, the item number 7 says there's an amendment to that section. Can you state what the amendment is? What the language of the amendment is or the intent?
Mr. Strong, would you care to?
If you have the packet that was circulated to the, put on the website.
Unfortunately, I do not. I only have what was
that
on the table in the back of the room.
Okay, then Mr. Rapley can give you the resolution that would completely reword Section 50-590, and the commission will hear your comments.
So according to the language of this resolution as I read it, the mayor gets to select one commissioner, and the council members get to select a commissioner and then a sixth at large by all of them, okay? I had heard outside this council that this was going to change, that the mayor got to appoint all of them, which I am strongly opposed to. So long as the language remains that each council person has the ability to select a member, such as there's representation from all of council, then I'm in favor of the motion. But again, I would strongly oppose any resolution that would limit the council's ability to pick zoning commission members. All right? Thank you.
Mr. Baker, thank you very much for your communication and being here tonight, sir. If anyone else would like to speak? No one else? I would like to go ahead and close the public hearing. The time is approximately 8:23 p.m. and it is closed. The time is still approximately 8:23 p.m. and it is now agenda item number 8. Discussion and possible action on a recommendation to City Council on an amendment to Section 50-590 of Chapter 50 of the Code of Ordinances to revise the method of appointment of members and alternates to Zoning Commission, establishing rules and operating procedures for the Zoning Commission, and setting an effective date.
Mr.
Commi-
Chairman,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, this item comes to the Zoning Commission at the request of the City Council. The City Council has, before this action, the City Council has already amended the procedure whereby members of the Architectural Review Committee and the procedure whereby members of the Board of Adjustment are appointed by the governing body. The language you see in the proposed ordinance, the proposed resolution in regard to Section 50-590 is consistent with the action already taken by the City Council in regard to the methodology of appointment of members of the Board of Adjustment under Chapter 50, and I believe also the methodology the City Council has adopted for the appointment of members to the Architectural Review Committee under Chapter 8 of the Code of Ordinances. But that is why this item is on y'all's agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Schnall. Commissioners, this is your time for open discussion.
I understand the council's desire to have uniformity in the appointment of boards, and my only objection to the language that they've recommended or whoever's recommended, is on line 1, 2, 3. The sentence that says, prior to appointments, the mayor may solicit applications, resumes, or indications of interest from citizens and submit a slate of potential candidates to the city council for consideration. My preference is that the council may solicit applications, not just the mayor. I think if the council is entitled to appoint a member, then I think the council should be able to solicit applicants and have them submitted as a slate for consideration by the entire council, rather than have them just be at the direction of the mayor, appointed or put on the appointment list according to the mayor. And I think that would address this whole beginning of the whereas, a problem common to council appointment of all the boards, committees, and commissions is that the selection by the majority vote of the council subjects all appointments to the prevailing political winds and effectively disenfranchises the council minority and the voters who put them in office. If the mayor is the only one who gets to appoint the slate, then I don't know how we're solving that problem, as the resolution has indicated is a problem.
Thank you, Commissioner Baker. Again, commissioners, this is your time for open discussion.
I agree with Jen on that. I really think that each council person should solicit their own person to put forward for the commission.
Thank you, Commissioner Booth. Anyone else? Any additional discussion, commissioners?
I'm in agreement with that as well. I think it waters down the minority if you don't allow one representative from each place of the council. When I first read this, I thought that's what it said, but as I've gone through it again, that's not it needs to be clarified or rewritten.
Commissioner Herndon, thank you very much for your communication. Anyone else? Commissioners? Before I move forward, Mr. Schnall, were you wanting to?
Just to point out that although it does say that the mayor may solicit applications, et cetera, and submit a slate of potential candidates to the council, what really controls is the following sentence, which reads, the mayor and each alderman shall appoint one member whose place on the zoning commission shall correspond to the place of the appointing alderman. The member appointed by the mayor shall hold place 6. The mayor shall nominate, and the council shall appoint one at-large member, and there shall be 3 alternates to the commission, 1 appointed by the mayor and 2 appointed by the council at large. If there's a concern about the wording of the sentence that Ms. Baker and Mr. Booth and Mr. Herndon have commented on, then this language can be amended by a motion to adopt this resolution with the amendment stated. But the language about the slate and about the mayor soliciting is not the controlling language about appointments. The controlling language about appointments is, as Mr. Herndon suggested on his first reading, is that the mayor and each alderman shall appoint one member whose place on the zoning commission shall correspond to the place of the appointing alderman. So each elected member of the governing body appoints someone. They can appoint someone that happens to be someone who made an application or someone that was on the mayor's slate that the mayor submitted. They can appoint anybody they want with the condition that the person must be a resident of the city of Castle Hills and not a member of city council, board of adjustment, or the architectural review committee. So although the mayor is the one who's designated to solicit by this language and can submit a slate, the council as a whole, every single member of the governing body, including the mayor, can ignore the mayor's slate, appoint whoever they want. Each person sitting on this dais this evening, other than Mr. Booth, was appointed by a member of the city council. Mr. Booth was appointed as an alternate, and I believe he was nominated by a member of the council and then voted on as an alternate. So this is a procedure that was informally followed this past cycle, the cycle that began in May and June of 2019. This resolution simply memorializes it. But having heard the concerns expressed by Ms. Baker and Mr. Booth and Mr. Herndon, it would be appropriate for someone to perhaps move the adoption of the resolution with the wording change in the second sentence of subsection 1 of the proposed resolution. Again, to move it forward and get it in front of the council.
Commissioners,
This
okay.
will not be going to the council, however, next week, because it was added after the deadline for publication of a public hearing by the council. So whatever recommendation y'all might make tonight would be presented to the city council at the regular meeting in March, so that Mr. Rapley has time to publish notice of the public hearing before the city council in a timely fashion under Chapter 211 of the Local Government Code.
Mr. Stahl, thank you. And most importantly, thank you to everyone who gave their communication in regards to this agenda item. And I would just like to go ahead and remind everybody, also too, I gave some samples earlier to try to help, and they're samples only because each commissioner can decide on their own method. But with that, we will accept a motion if someone would like to bring one forward.
I move that we accept the change to the zoning code 50-590 with the caveat that under the language that begins with the sentence prior to appointments, the mayor, and I would strike mayor and replace it with council, may solicit applications, resumes, or indications of interest from citizens and submit a slate of potential candidates to the city council for consideration.
First by Ms. Commissioner Baker. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Booth. All in favor? I abstain. Mr. City Manager, could I ask for the tabulation on that again, too? The vote? 4-0. Okay.
I would, if I would, I'd like to point out just a typo on item 4, number 4, under section 50-590. It reads, the mayor and city manager shall ensure that each newly appointed member of the zoning commission is infirmed. And that may be true, but I think the word should be informed.
Okay, we have a motion on the table, but
I think we can
was voted
consider,
on.
I think your motion, the motion to adopt the ordinance with the one change has already been adopted. The item was still open. I think we can take Ms. Baker's comment about the word infirmed to change to informed. If you could make that in the form of a motion, the commission can vote on that, and then we can completely clean up this action item for a presentation to the City Council at the March meeting.
I move that we amend section 4 of the new section 5-590. The mayor and city manager shall ensure that each newly appointed member of the zoning commission is informed generally of their duties and responsibilities under applicable law and regulations, removing infirmed and replacing it with informed.
Commissioner Baker with that first. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Booth. All in favor? Any opposed? Abstain.
Chairman, just to clarify, the previous one you had asked me, right?
Yes, sir.
4-0, and then you're abstained. Okay, that's,
Thank you, sir. All right, the time is approximately 8:36 PM. Agenda item number 9. Adjournment, I request a motion to adjourn, please. First by Mr. Booth, second by Commissioner Baker. Thank you all.